Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. So today's topic is going to be, are you scaring the crap out of yourself? So I'll touch on that in a minute and take a couple of nice breaths. Got Finney behind me again. That seems to be his spot. Ever since I put these plants in, he likes sleeping over here under them. So a couple of nice breaths. Breathe in the peace. Exhale the noise. Breathe in the clarity. Exhale the uncertainty. Breathe in the calm. Exhale the freak out. All right, so stop scaring the crap out of yourself. So here's what I'll tell you. It's really, really easy to take in all the information that we gather from our own experience, how we feel physically, combine that with the things we've read online, whether it be, some medical websites, Dr. Google, the Facebook groups surrounding the symptoms that we're experiencing, the medical doctors who have given us these scary, fancy sounding labels, well-meaning friends, family, magazine articles on the web. We take in all of this information, and much of it's not too good because, you hear the term chronic pain, chronic illness. And surrounding all of these discussions all over the internet and the media are terms like no cure or pain management. And those words can be terrifying, right? And so, what I'm going to strongly encourage you to do is, number one, please, first and foremost, trust the body. It knows what to do. If our thinking doesn't get in the way, the body always heals. As a matter of fact, the body still always heals. The question is whether or not we convince the brain that it hasn't, right? I've told the story of a lady I communicated with who was having knee pain. She started a TMS process, started to feel better, but because she had already scheduled surgery, she was kind of pushed into it. And so she reluctantly went ahead with the surgery, and once she had the post-surgical pain, she freaked out. I should have never gotten this surgery. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done this. And she completely freaked out. And then as the pain didn't really go away, she was convinced, well, the doctor must have botched the surgery. Cut a nerve, did something, they screwed it up. And so many years later, after telling herself over and over and over again that the surgery was botched, her brain had learned to keep the pain going because she had convinced her brain that the knee was messed up. Despite multiple MRIs from other doctors and other doctors telling her clearly your knee is perfectly fine structurally, there's no reason for this pain. Unless you're aware of the concept of learned pain, right? It's memorized. The brain has memorized pain signals and makes the knee hurt. And if you remember what I talk about as far as the purpose of pain, the brain's job is to stop you from doing things that it perceives are dangerous. So if the brain perceives she's got a bum knee, what do you think is going to happen when she takes the steps, or she bends down and does a squat, or walks too much, or tries to go on a jog? Her brain's going to go, stop it, here's some pain. So that's one example of somebody scaring the crap out of themselves and creating persistent pain. So, what are you doing that is helping you to calm down and soothe your fears? Or what are you doing that is scaring the crap out of yourself? I think some of the thoughts we choose to ruminate on, what if the doctor missed something? What if there's nerve damage? What if there's this? What if there's that? What if I never get better? What if these symptoms persist for the rest of my life? What's my life going to be like in 10 years? And I'm sure for many of you watching, these questions, these catastrophic worst case scenario questions sound very, very familiar. And I'm suggesting if you're doing that and you're spending a lot of time on those types of what if I never get better type of questions, all you're doing is scaring the crap out of yourself. And what does that mean for your likelihood of recovery? It's certainly not a good thing. And it will likely mean that your systems persist, because a brain that is constantly being afraid by your own thinking and then further research, which just kind of reinforces this, I'm never going to get better because nobody's recovering from this thing because I researched it, I read it online, so it must be true, right? Well, again, remember, much of the information you're reading online, much of the information you hear from doctors and friends and family are not aware of this concept called learned pain and TMS, the mind-body syndrome. So are you scaring the crap out of yourself by deciding that all of this misinformation, this incorrect information, applies to you? I would venture to say you may be. And so I will strongly encourage you to question, am I believing and ruminating and predicting my future of suffering based on somebody who doesn't even understand what TMS is? If so, you're really not doing yourself any favors. You're really not. And so, really, really important to understand, if you're continually fearful, worrying, thinking catastrophically, what are you basing that upon? Are you basing it upon the accurate knowledge taught by myself and other TMS professionals out there? Or are you basing it on the misinformation from the mainstream medical community that just absolutely has no knowledge of this? It's not taught in medical school. It certainly is not profitable for their business and their practice, and will likely not be embraced by the medical society, because if it was, the $600 billion a year pain management industry in the United States alone would crumble. Because you can't make money telling somebody that they're not broken. Right? There's not a lot of profit in that. And so it's left up to you to educate yourself and make your own decisions, to take your own self-care and your own health into your own hands. And I am encouraging you as much as possible, as strongly as possible, to stop scaring the crap out of yourself by relying on misinformation from unaware people, well-meaning, but unaware people, about your condition, the chronic state of it, and stop using all of the medical labels. Right? These medical labels are required for diagnostics and insurance forms, and really not terribly helpful in teaching you and your brain to settle down because you're not broken. So again, I go back to the very original Dr. Sarno. His core message is, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to fix. All of your abnormalities that may be found on investigation, evaluation, imaging studies, they're normal abnormalities. They're not the cause. The mind is creating the pain as a result of a perceived danger or threat. That danger or threat could be emotional, social, situational, job pressure, job stress, self-imposed pressure, self-criticism, the need to be perfect and always failing at that. It could also be a physical injury that you're afraid won't heal. But again, remember, the body always heals. And think back in your lifetime to either yourself or people you know who had true legitimate injuries, that when they didn't freak out about it, the body healed fine. And even if they did freak out about it, the body probably still recovered perfectly fine, but the brain is the only thing that latched onto and says, there's still a problem, so we need to keep the pain going to protect them from moving this quote-unquote unhealed, injured body part. Look at any cut you've ever had in the kitchen, a burn, a broken bone. Countless people break bones all the time, and they just expect it'll heal. It's no problem. And so it's really bizarre that many of us come to the conclusion that I'm broken. I've got some kind of nerve damage. From what? Sarna used to joke, did you get hit by a bus on the way to my office? Excuse me. And if the answer was no, then he goes, you're okay. Especially for those of us where the symptoms came about at a very stressful time of our life. Why is it that we make the leap to the fact that our body must be broken, when in fact there was no traumatic incident that could have damaged us? And so things like bending over, things like even exercise at the gym, if you pull a muscle in the gym, it's going to heal in a matter of days or weeks. If you've got pain months or years later, that's probably learned pain where the brain has said, oh, we've got a problem there, we've got to keep the pain persistent, so they stop working out, so they stop bending over, so they stop doing this. And so when you truly realize what's going on, it's a lot easier to dismiss and choose not to linger or ruminate on these negative thoughts that say, I'm broken. Because at the end of the day, the body always heals. And if we teach the brain that we're not broken, it can let go of the pain. So I hope you find this message well, that this resonates with you. And if you're one of the type who is constantly scaring the crap out of yourself, that is not the way we teach the brain that you're actually safe and to turn off the pain. The way to do that is through accurate knowledge, acceptance of that knowledge, feeling emotions, soothing our body, breathing, taking the tension out, calming our thinking down, which is stop scaring the crap out of ourselves, learning to become indifferent to the pain, because freaking out doesn't help, and freaking out is where we're scaring the crap out of ourselves. So even if indifference seems impossible, calm reassurance of the accurate knowledge that you've got is the next best thing. So this is not rocket science. At the end of the day, the message is you're not broken, and you don't need to stay in pain. When you consistently send your brain those messages through the things I just rattled off, your brain will get the message, and these symptoms can fade away. So please, please, please stop scaring the crap out of yourself. You're not doing yourself any favors, and that is in no way, shape, or form keeping you safe. So, love you guys and gals. I will talk to you tomorrow.